We say things that don't mean anything, but thanks for listening. Yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to We Say Things, episode 111. It's a palindrome, kind of, technically. Suns fan here with Cinderin. And Cinderin
is
is
the dumbest palindrome ever.
Cinderin is the other guy talking, not this pillow that I'm caressing right now. This is a body pillow, I guess you can call it, from We Play. It actually has a backside, which makes it even better. And I just wanted to show one more thing because this is okay. We've gotten throughout both of our careers, you know, occasionally at events we get to keep some stuff, and there's a lot of cool stuff over the years, right? This next thing I basically stole, and then they gave me permission after I told them I was going to steal it. This is the coolest thing ever, and they made it for a literal 5 second, not even 5 second segment. This is a Pudge Hook plushie. So they had like this segment in between the lower bracket finals where we cast at the major and the finals, where, you know, whatever that little show they did was, I was supposed to be Pudge, and I was supposed to be hooking with this, and they colored my hair green. It was like all this setup for a literal 5 second segment, and I used this, and I'm like, you guys went to all the trouble to make this. What's happening with it? Like, we don't know. Like, I'm keeping it then. This is the coolest fucking plushie ever, honestly. So shout out to WePlay for letting me keep it.
It's got very good dimensions for a plushie, right? Like, it's perfect for like cuddling with. It's very good.
It's good for hanging yourself, which I will do after this podcast, most likely. Anywho,
it's really cool. It is really cool.
Thank you for
complimenting. And it's one of a
us.
kind, which is, you know, extra cool.
That's true. If somebody wants to buy it for $100,000, that's what it'll take to get this off my neck.
Yeah.
But let's get started with the episode.
You really don't want to survive, do you?
The patron shoutouts. You take the first half this time.
Yes, I will. All right. We've got Hakuna Matata, the guy in the chair, Lucas Frankel, Commander Donut. I'm playing Position 5 IRL. That can be both a good and a bad thing. Many people disgruntled by telling them how gruntled I am. Well, making people disgruntled by telling them blah, blah. Forgot to cancel again, so my wife slept with other men. I've gained weight and would be happier if you read Wizard's first rule. Chakar. Great. Playing against Wyvern on lane is so shitty, his second spell should be called Sphincter Blast. The Megapope. Don't be afraid to tell us what you want in life, TA in New Zealand. Zan Xavier. Nate Thicko01 Hamscroat supports the Suns and thinks that all Lakers fans should go suck it, Cuff Cup Pop Tart. Bacon is rooting for the Suns. Acting like I'm being pinned down by the police, then shouting Viva España while my asshole is exposed to everyone. Okay, interesting. Shark TM, you do the rest.
Pro Counter-Strike 1.6 player.
Oh, it's you.
No, I wasn't 1.6. It was actually before 1.6. Sind sells seashells by the seashore. Novi Panda. Dop. Eating Chosnek makes you happy and healthy. Sins fan needs to cast at TI10 Go Suns. Underscore man. Guitar strings. Ben Broomhead started following the NBA because of Suns fan, but started going for the Lakers for some fucking reason before finding out Suns fan hated them. LOL. Not acceptable, Ben Broomhead. Pitch Black, Wooden Aftertaste, Done Talk, Anonymous, The Suns Go Hard in the Paint, Flocka, Peter, it takes about 50 licks to finish a single scoop ice cream cone, Niebling, and Perkadirk, Love Suns fan, Cinderin, Sajidine, and Slacks. Any other S names I forgot, let me know. Thank you, friends. We appreciate it. Okay. I guess this will be the NBA segment of the week. Damn it, I should have checked. What was the last update, Cinderin? I think it was we made the finals and we didn't know who we were playing at the time, right? So the Milwaukee Bucks beat the Atlanta Hawks 4-2 without their biggest star, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek god. So we play the Bucks, and it's already begun. We have beaten them the first 2 games at home, so 2-0, 2 more away from an NBA championship, the first in franchise history, which has been 60 plus years, or where the hell it is now. So crossing my fingers. The next two
Well, you're
games are actually
crossing your
spaced out
fingers
quite a bit.
for one loss, right?
No, I've been asked this because, yeah, I want to go to game 5, which is going to be really expensive. But if I save a shit ton of money and we sweep, that would be great. But it's going to be, I think, apparently my, okay, we're going to pause real quick. Okay, we're back. We just had a little hiccup with the stream, but yeah, anyway, the Suns are 2 games away from winning their first championship, and obviously I couldn't be happier right now. It's actually quite fitting that we are playing the Bucks because there's a history, which I can't remember if we talked about. We probably did, actually. Back in the day when the franchise first started, back in 68, I don't remember if it was actually 68 or a little bit later, but either way, we had a coin flip for the number 1 pick in the draft, Cinderin. And
Coin flip.
we were tied with the Bucks for a coin flip. We chose heads. It was tails. So as a result, they got the number 1 pick, and that number 1 pick ended up being a man named Lou Alcindor, who ended up changing his name to something maybe that you've heard of, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Is that something somebody you've heard of?
I feel like maybe I've heard that. Did he go by like a different name as
Kareem
well?
Abdul-Jabbar. No, that's what he went by.
Okay, he
Anyway,
wasn't like given a nickname or something.
his name was Kareem. What was
Okay.
his nickname? He was known for his hook shot. Anyway,
Kareem.
as a result of having him and another player, they
Fuck,
won a
he's
championship.
tall.
Yeah, he's tall. He was actually in Airplane, which I saw recently for the first time. Surprisingly, for the first, I thought I had seen it. But anyway, that's a whole side story. So they
He
won the
was an
championship.
airplane.
Yeah, it was like a cameo type thing. But they won the championship with him, and that's their only championship ever. Was when they had him. So they haven't been back to the finals in forever. We haven't been back in the finals since 1993, which I've said before. I was at Game 6 against Michael Jordan with my dad. Very traumatic experience, but at the same time, it's one of those memories that you just will never, like, I can cherish, even though it was a loss. I cherish that experience. So, like I said, it's fitting that it's against the Bucks, honestly. But we're up 2-0, so hopefully by next episode or the episode after, we will have very good news, Cinder, and I can be extra hype. So that is the NBA segment.
Yes.
So with
Dude,
that,
it's amazing. Like I don't know what I cheer for the most, to be honest. If you win 4-0 or that you win 4-1, because I think even though you said you're going to save a lot of money on not going, I think you're really going to love it if you win in that game.
and if we don't,
It's
I'm
going to be
going to
like
be
a
very
really
sad.
really special experience. Just make sure you don't sit behind a pole
Yeah,
or something.
yeah. I'm going to use all the Patreon money to go to that game. So thank you. Really appreciate the support. Okay, let's get started with the episode. So obviously this episode's a bit late because we were casting the TI qualifiers for EU. So I believe we're still on track to do next episode during the normal time.
Yep.
Unless something else comes up. But the biggest news, Cinderin, before we get to the TI quals and all that good stuff, TI has been re-announced, if you will. I'll just read it. Announcing new locations and dates for the International Dota 2 Championships. We are thrilled to announce the TI-10 Dota 2 Championships will be held this October in Bucharest, Romania, and the epic battle for the Aegis champions will fittingly unfold inside the country's largest stadium, Arena Națională. Group stage will run from October 7th to 10th, with the main stage play kicking off on October 12th. Then on the 17th, the 2 finest Dota 2 teams in the world will face off for the Aegis and their shares of the $40 million prize pool that awaits. Additional information on ticket sales will come shortly. So it sounds like there will be tickets sold at the very least.
Yep.
We are grateful for the partnership we have formed with Romania and the city of Bucharest, and very much look forward to gathering with the global Dota 2 community, both in person and virtually, to celebrate the elite players and amazing fandom at the International. Prepare yourselves. At long last, the battle begins. So, a few different things we can talk about. First, location. Sweden,
Right.
axed, which isn't a big surprise after the announcement that we made, that they made, and then we covered. So what are your thoughts on Bucharest? I've only been once, and it was for, what was that for? It was for one of the majors, and basically didn't leave the hotel or venue, so I don't know anything about the
Right.
country really.
I've been 2 or 3 times, I think, but yeah, obviously only for Dota. So I've uh I've only really seen the city like through the window of a car traveling from the hotel to the or traveling from the airport to the hotel and back. Which I think Bucharest has some really beautiful places. I have no idea what that arena or where that arena is relative to where I was. I don't know if I've driven past that one, um, but yeah, as far as location goes, I guess there's a couple of upsides to this. One is for the fans that are traveling internationally, Bucharest is not so expensive. It's cheaper than Sweden. So I guess lodging will be cheaper. Everything is just cheaper there. Food, lodging, all of it.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
that's good news for people that are going internationally to TI and would go regardless of where it was in Europe. They save some money. Um, as far as infrastructure, I don't know much about that in Bucharest, but I do know that from a production standpoint, it makes things a lot easier for Valve because PGL is located in Bucharest.
Yeah.
So a lot of the production setup will probably be a lot easier and a lot less expensive for them, which was probably a big draw here. Um, and the stadium, I think this is the biggest question mark that people have is there was a really long thread written on Reddit about complications or issues that could arise with that arena because it's supposedly unfinished. But then some of that was apparently debunked, and the person who wrote it wasn't even Romanian and used Google Translate for some of the Romanian they wrote or something.
Okay.
And yeah, it was really weird. It was like, but supposedly, even then, some of the things written, such as potential issues with the retractable roof or whatever, was real. That if the weather is bad, it could become a bit tricky. Because there was one of the football games that was played in the stadium last year, I think, where there were some issues with weather. I think. So knock on wood, we don't have any arena issues. But outside of that, I think Romania is a pretty good pick. It's central. It should be relatively easy to connect to for the teams. Um, it's not exactly a hub in Europe, but most European countries have a connection, at least the bigger ones like Germany, the Netherlands, the big airports have a direct connection to Bucharest. So it's pretty good, I think.
And obviously it's been delayed, what is it, 2 months? So that
Yeah.
in it itself has some, well, it has some pros and cons, I guess. The
Give
pros,
Secret a better chance
more
of winning.
sure. The pros are you get more people vaccinated, obviously.
Yep.
So that
Absolutely.
allows for more people to actually attend. And I mean, obviously, if you're living in the US, it's not really that big of an issue. But in certain countries, like yourself, for example, I can't remember if you've gotten your first shot yet or not. But either way,
I am
just the
getting
extra
it
time
in a
is nice.
week.
Very good. I hope that you bring that up in the next episode or whenever it happens.
Yeah, I actually don't know why I didn't say that earlier when we were pre Dota. But yeah, I'm getting 2 shots. We'll just do it now as a side note. Now you brought it up. But I believe it's the 18th and the 14th. So 18th of July
Oh,
and
okay.
14th of August. And then I'm going to be
Okay.
vaccinated. So
Oh, that's my
that's
birthday.
exciting. I'm getting Moderna.
That's good. Oh, okay.
Did you get that one? Or
I
was it
got
Pfizer?
Pfizer. Yeah.
Right.
Same formula. So,
Um, so on topic of the vaccines, I think Romania's vaccine situation, without knowing it for sure, must be really good because part of the reason that I was put forward in the line for a vaccine in Denmark is that we managed to secure over 1 million vaccines from Romania. So if we're
oh,
if we're obtaining those, they must be either done or close enough that they had too many. And the ones we got from there were, I want to say Pfizer. Yeah, I think it was Pfizer vaccines, but I was just on Moderna gang for some reason. I just got assigned that one, which is fine. Um, so yeah, I would imagine based on that the COVID situation is going to be good in Romania in 3 months.
either that or they don't give a shit about their citizens and they're just, you guys are paying
And
top
selling
dollar.
it to the highest bidder.
So
I mean,
that's
yeah.
the pro. More people will be vaccinated and all that good stuff. The negatives that come out of it, the question marks of the following DPC season. It was supposed to be, if I'm not mistaken, in 3 segments, right? And this 2 month lag period, if you want to call it that, kind of complicates that. Like, if you finish TI, do you just start with the DPC season right away and just try to get 3 of them before the next TI, or are we going to go back to 2 again? What do you think the play is going to be there?
With how many majors you said?
Yeah.
Uh,
Now, keep in mind that the last time around, like for the actual DPC seasons before the major even take place, they are
yeah.
kind of extended a lot of leeway. So I feel like they can condense that to a normal schedule because that was actually one of the complaints from
Right.
players is that the games like
Yeah,
they play
they
one
spread
game
it
a
out
week.
really far. I
So
think
it's doable.
realistically with TI in October, the next year probably only has 2 majors. But if we stabilize and get TI back in August, maybe we could have 3 the following year.
Hmm.
That would be my guess. Like I don't. I would like to see 3, obviously, but I think maybe it's a bit too hard to pull off. Um, by the way, just saw some feedback from chat about the vaccines. Romania is not doing great on the vaccines. It's because there's no more demand from the population. They just don't want to take them. So
Oh,
that's great.
good.
Yeah.
Gracious.
So if that is true, and depending on what happens in the next 3 months, if some of the players arriving, which is probably the case, right? Some of the players attending the tournament will not be fully vaccinated. There's probably still going to be some pretty heavy restrictions on player access then. I mean, that's all speculation. We'll see, right? I'm assuming the only audience that gets to go are vaccinated. That would be my guess. You can't get in without a proof of a vaccine. Since they are saying tickets, we're guessing there's going to be an audience. It's potentially really big. The arena can house, I think, 55K. It's a huge arena. Um, so yeah, I guess we'll see. That is, it's always disheartening to hear that the population doesn't want to be vaccinated. It's just a shame. But
I was led
what
to
can you
believe
do, right?
only Americans were like that, but yeah, it's all over the world, sadly. But with education comes greater things, Cinderin. And you and I are very, very educated. I mean, as you can tell by my
I'm so
appearance, I am
smart.
the most educated person on the face of the planet. So, one other topic about this change to TI, not only the dates, but location. For specifically the dates, though, there was a tweet made by Phil Aram. If you guys don't know, he used to be a long time ago, he was the manager of EG. Then he was I think, was he actually the CEO for a
COO
little bit or COO?
or CEO?
I
Maybe
thought
it
he
was
was the
CEO.
CEO like for a bit, and then they got somebody else, and then I don't know, he left. He's not part of EG
Oh,
anymore.
they
Anyway,
got what's her name?
yeah, I can't remember her name either. But
Yeah, I think she's
his
still CEO.
tweet his tweet says moving TI to October is fascinating contractually because Valve invites the 5 specific players who qualified, and most contracts expire September of whatever year that they signed for. So a whole team could attend TI as free agents, and individual players could opt out uh, and attend unaffiliated to their qualifying org. This is actually pretty fascinating because this is 100% true.
Yep.
Uh, there's not many teams that will be signing more than a year contract unless it's like some big
Hmm.
name, and that's how you kind of get them to sign this because it's multi-year with a little bit of freedom maybe. But it's basically end of August. So, what are your thoughts? Like, what happens in this case? That's so weird to think about because the players, as far as I know, are all paid individually now. It used to be the opposite where the org got it. Now the money automatically goes through the workshop, the payment system from
Hmm.
Valve to the players. And technically, they won't be part of these teams in theory. That's a lot of leverage for the players to extend for the contracts coming up in their orgs. So,
Right.
what are your thoughts
Yeah,
on that?
it's. I wonder what's going to happen in the cases of some of the really big guns, right? Like if, like you said, if they have leverage and they get to land a really strong 1 year contract, or if you just do an extension for TI, or you do like yeah, just like a 2 month contract basically, or 3. What would that be? Like 3 months, I guess, because usually they'll expire in September, and you want them to expire in November then. So yeah, 2 months. Um, I think that's the most likely. I think teams don't want to sign a 1 year contract right before TI because
Yeah.
they might want to shake things up after TI. So, realistically speaking, I think most of these top teams that have contracts work out some sort of extension that expires upon the end of TI exactly. Um, and then, yeah, like you said, they have quite a bit of leverage. They have a lot of leverage. Like, how do you even make a contract like that as an org?
Yeah, I think like something that
If you
I
want a
would try to
percentage of the winnings, you need to offer the players so much for it to be worth them to sign.
I mean, a lot of it depends on the contract as well, because sometimes if the contract is very thorough, it'll say like have stipulations that it should include TI, right? So you could
Yeah,
make an argument that that should extend 2 extra months then, or as an org,
right.
if you've done a good job of keeping your players happy, you could have some like good faith verbal contract saying, "Hey, I know that this is weird, but obviously the contract should be extended a couple months." Um,
Yeah.
just depends on how much of a hard ass the players want to be for themselves, right?
Hmm.
So it's going to be weird because there's got to be at least one team that's seriously thinking about, hey, we don't need to give a cut to our team, technically, the org. If we do well at TI, that pays more than any salary ever would anyway. So fuck them. We're going to be known as Butthole Warriors for
Yeah.
TI,
The thing
per
is,
Valve approval, of course.
I guess the thing is, if you think forward as a player, right? There's also a lot of value in how it looks, right? Like if you're the team that ditches the org right before, uh, for future possibilities with other orgs, they might be more hesitant to pick your team up because you clearly, I'm not going to say it's like like an unethical or a bad move or whatever, but I don't think you just do that and nobody cares except your old org, right?
Mm.
Like, uh, let's just, as a random example, let's say the EG players are like, nope, we'll just play without an org. Then EG will not pick them up again, probably. So they'll not get back with EG after TI.
Right.
And other orcs will be like, yeah, but,
So
I don't know.
think
Like
about this
maybe
angle
I'm
as well.
overthinking that. Maybe that really doesn't matter.
I
And
think teams
other
like
orcs will be like, no,
EG,
but still EG. So
teams like EG, they pay a lot in salary, so they're
mhm.
at less of a risk, I think, of losing the players. But think about it from if you again, I don't know if players are smart enough to do this, like business wise, but if you talk to other orgs that are also in TI, you could see a flip flop of teams, literally, like in terms of just the org changing. Because if one team
Right.
gets more, like, think if you're a team that's not getting that much in salary, but you think you're going to do really well at TI, you can go without an org theoretically, or you could try to get the highest bidder for another org coming in that's maybe not even a part of TI currently. So there could be a lot
Right.
of like mix or shuffling around in terms of just the
That's
org
true.
itself. But maybe nothing happens.
Yeah.
Maybe this is all nothing.
That'll be funny.
Uh, Butthole Warriors will face the Anal Avengers in the grand finals of TI. That would make a great storyline.
Damn,
Let
you
me
would be
tell you.
really a good caster for that set.
I wouldn't be afraid of pronouncing their name.
You
That's
would be
true.
an analyst in that series, I
I
think.
would be an analyst, if nothing
Yes,
else.
also
That's true.
that. Absolutely.
Okay, let's get on to the TI qualifiers, which we were a part of course. I didn't get to watch any China. Did you?
No, actually, I did not.
Very good.
Did
I
not
actually
get to
forgot to
watch
set this
China.
up on stream, so I apologize. We're not going to see Wikipedia, sadly. Um, but in the end, for the Chinese division or region, if you will, um, Elephant ends up beating eHome 3-1 in the grand finals, and they were pretty dominant throughout. Uh, They did lose to eHome, though. This is one of the classic stories of losing to a team in the upper bracket, going through lower bracket again. You learn your lesson and you just crush them. That's essentially what happened. Um, does this surprise you in any way? I mean, FY being back at TI, that's going to be great. That's like again from I think from a
Mm,
China like Western perspective. Maybe I'm a little bit biased here, but sometimes you don't care about the storylines as much versus what we're used to seeing because it's almost like a closed off community in some ways. But FY is one of the people that is very recognizable. Like he's had a long history and he deserves to be at TI for sure.
I think FY might be the Chinese player with the biggest Western fan base, or at least top three. Like there are so many FY fans.
What about Burning?
Yeah,
I don't. He's not really
yeah.
playing as much, but
Burning probably, but like among active players, I guess, right?
yeah.
There's FY maybe, and maybe paparazzi. So all three in that team. Is that true?
Paparazzi's on that team.
Yeah, Euros. I'm just thinking about how many. So
Oh, he
which
changed his
other
name.
Chinese teams qualified, right? So let's see. We have Vici Gaming and Invictus and LGD. Maybe Ame actually. I think Ame has quite a lot of fans. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if three. They're definitely some of the biggest ones. Whatever. Let's not try to rank them perfectly. But yeah, huge fan favorites in Elephant. I did predict them to win this qualifier, but I felt like it was really hard to say because they hadn't qualified for anything else this year, right? They had been beaten in the other qualifiers by various teams, but when it was crunch time for TI, they finally got it done. So they got the big one here. And eHome was probably the other team that I thought had the biggest chance, with probably RNG on third. RNG, however, did only get fourth. They actually got beaten by Team Magma. So Magma did get third here. But yeah, congrats to Elephant. I think it's really good for the hype of those games that Elephant are there. Their roster is Paparazzi, maybe, Yang, FY, and Super. So really, some of the biggest names in every position, basically. An all-star team. And probably a team that if things click for them at TI, they have the potential to win the whole thing or at least get top 3. Like, their players are so good. So exciting. I think it's good for the tournament that they made it.
You can make that case for all the Chinese teams probably. And every time we go to a tournament, it feels like you pick 2 Chinese teams top 3, and it's usually correct. So definitely the most consistent region by far. But we cast the most the most non-consistent, the inconsistent region, where they just haven't played that well all year, and as a result, they're in this really shitty spot where only one team will come out. Between Team Nigma, Liquid, OG, and you could put Tundra in that list, obviously, maybe to some degree Viking, and it ends up being OG somehow. I mean, they came from the lower bracket. I say somehow because they had to go through Nigma, and they had to go through Liquid as well. Tundra had a bit of an easier upper bracket schedule, but they ended up 2-0ing OG. But then again, the classic where they come from the lower bracket, OG takes out Tundra in 5 games. They're actually down 2-1, I believe, right? So ends up winning that, which is really heartbreaking for Tundra. I know players like, I mean, obviously Fata has been around a long time, but players like Snaking, who made the move to Europe to compete, not going to be going to TI, sadly. But at the very least, we get the 2-time TI champ OG to go. What were your thoughts on this quali?
I mean, I guess overall with this finals, I think both outcomes are good for the tournament, right? Like, either it's the team that beat OG in the qualifiers that gets to go, which is a big storyline, or it's OG that clawed through it and barely made TI this year that gets to go. And then we see how good they are this time. So I think both storylines were cool. In many ways, the saddest one, probably for me, is the fact that Kuro isn't going overall, and Nigma in general, right? But this is Kuro's first TI he's going to miss as a player, and that means the final one that's left is Puppy, who has played at every TI. So we lost one more on that record. But yeah, I would have loved to see Tundra go. I think it would have been a really cool story. I think they deserved it based on how well they played in this tournament, but there can only be one winner, and they just narrowly lost the finals after being up, like you said, 2-1. So it is heartbreaking. It's kind of crazy to think that you can dominate this hard in the qualifier. They went 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. They lost no games, and then in the finals they lose by as little as possible, and they get nothing. But that's how qualifiers are. You either make it or you don't. There's no like consolation prize. There's no wild card this year, and there's only one slot. So too bad. I hope for them at least that they're showcasing and that their confidence for the next season is going to be higher, and that they learned a lot. Because clearly they played really well, so they've definitely learned a lot on the way to look this dominant, and that it helps secure them an extended deal with Tundra, a better deal, or maybe a different sponsorship entirely if they're looking for that. So that's the silver lining here. They would have rather gone to TI.
No doubt.
Yeah, so OG goes. I think overall the qualifier when we cast it, I think the quality of play in OG Nigma, which we cast, was really high. I think Tundra looked great, and outside of that, honestly, nobody really impressed me. Those were the 3 teams that looked like they were in form. Liquid were very hot and cold. They had an insane game against Chicken Fighters that lasted 104 minutes that they had literally no business winning, but they somehow came back from being down 75k gold. Then the second game, they get stomped in 20 minutes. And then in the third game, Chicken Fighters picked Techies. So, you know, they made it through that one. And then they played Nigma and lost that 1-2. They won their first game with their signature Lone Druid, and after that, Nigma won the following 2 games. But that series was the third game was pretty close actually. So I think Liquid had better form in that series than in the rest, but still just not at their A game this tournament either. Not in their best form.
So
But yeah,
what surprised you the most? Because for me, Viking going out basically right away. They were upper bracket.
yeah,
They lost to OG 2-1, and then lower bracket losing to Chicken Fighters 2-0. So
yeah.
basically instantly out of the tournament.
I think Viking losing as hard as they did was a bigger surprise than Tundra owning as hard as they did. Because I felt
Mm.
like Tundra had the potential as a team. They've had it for a while. But Viking just bombing out was a really big shame. Obviously, also for me personally, like my friend Kezo, I would have liked to see him do better and get further. I know he's really been working hard and grinding for this. He has a really good work ethic. But yeah, it just wasn't this time. You know, that sucks. I think we talked about this on a previous podcast that there's like a lot of outcomes here that would be cool for me. Like either Viking make it and then Kezu makes it, or Liquid make it and Koiko make it. Two of my ex teammates that I really enjoyed playing with in the space. Both of their teams don't look good here. And then in the end, it's just OG again, you know. It's like okay,
Hey,
well,
I got my prediction right. So happy about that at
that's
least.
true. That is true. How many did you get right? Actually, I got 4 out of 6.
Well, we haven't even. Did we talk about the North NA region? No, we didn't, because we didn't have our episode in time. So,
Oh, true.
NA, and what was the other region that was going alongside NA? Was it
SEA?
SCA? Okay, so for
Yeah.
NA, which I watched a good amount of, Undying just crushed everybody. They
Yeah.
2-0'd the
That
cut,
was
2-0'd Black and Yellow, 2-0'd 4 Zoomers who went lower bracket, then came back into the grand finals, and then Undying 3-0'd them. It was not even remotely close. So Undying definitely obviously I was rooting for 4 Zoomers, but just not able to bring it home. But good to see
I'm
Moon
happy for
Meander go
Tomato.
back. Yeah, Tomato's worked really hard.
Happy for Tomato.
Dubu plays Enchantress and only Enchantress. He's going to be going to TI. I'm sure people are going to love playing against that all day. So, yeah, congrats to them. And then for SCA, as I change sections here, it was. Oops, I clicked the wrong link. So
You say that, but Duba played one Enchantress game the whole qualifier.
I
I
know
guess it was just banned every game.
I'm half joking here. I mean,
Uh-huh.
during the season, he only played Enchantress
Right.
basically. But Fnatic ended up fighting out against TNC Predator, and they ended up winning 3-2. I picked TNC, so I lost that one.
Yep, same.
But yeah, Fnatic, I mean, a lot of these series went like the distance, which is cool to see. But it's really sad because TNC, we saw them at the major. I thought they definitely were deserving of, like, they were TI quality, I think.
And they got reverse sweep. Like imagine that. You're 2-0 in the TI qualifier finals, and then you lose 3 games in a row.
It's the worst way to go.
That's just it's gotta be fucking
For
heartbreaking.
sure. And again, they were good enough to be TI. Obviously, you could say the same for Nigma, for Tundra, but there's only 16 team going, right? Or is it 16 or 18, whatever it is.
Yep, 18.
3 South American teams. That's going to be a thing. I actually think it's going to be really good for the scene long term to have these 3 South American teams go, because it's just going to make them stronger. I hope. If it doesn't, then it's just a disaster, right?
I really want to see one of the SA teams make top 6 this year.
Yeah.
And I do think it's possible. There was it TI9 or TI8 where what were they called? The team with HFN. Or not HFN, Hector. Before they became Beast Coast. Or were they called Beast Coast at that TI? With Hector.
Oh, I know Beast Coast did good at one TI. Infamous.
Were they called Beast Coast at that one?
It's always Beast Coast or Infamous. Just pick one of the two. Those are the only two main.
They were
orgs,
called
right?
Infamous that year, I think.
SG, I don't think it's made it to TI.
They were really good that TI. Hector was a god, especially. So yeah, it has happened before. I think they made top 8 that one, or maybe even top 6. If I remember correctly, it was top 8, and they lost 2-1 to Secret, I think, and got knocked
they had
out
a good
there.
showing
So,
for sure.
It was very, very close to going very far.
But yeah, for the
Yeah.
qualified teams, I picked 4 Zoomers. That was my heart. Uh, for South America, I actually don't remember.
Didn't you say? Oh, SAM. But you didn't pick SG, right? I think you just picked no pain or no ping. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I picked No Ping,
Right.
so I got that wrong as well. I picked OG, got that right. Picked Team Spirit, got that right. Picked Elephant, got that right. Picked TNC, almost got that right. So,
Yes. So I
half.
got 4 and you got 3, and that means you owe me $100,000 and a pudge hook.
No, that's not happening.
Oh.
Good
Okay.
try though, Cinder. Maybe if you want to
So you
lay
got a
terms
U.
beforehand.
I predicted Nigma and EU, which
Mhm.
obviously turned out wrong. But yeah, I missed EU and I missed SCA, and I got the other ones right.
You picked SG.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. See, I feel like I was gonna like Undying is a safer pick, but I'm doing this for my like I was gonna be embarrassed to have it on stream that I picked Undying and not 4 Zoomers when I
When it's
helped
your own
them
voice pack.
with the voice pack and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I
You
feel like I
gotta
should be
do
given
it.
a little extra credit here. That's just to support my boy Brax. Okay.
Right.
But yeah, that was the TI quals. Do you have this link? You should have this link. But some cool stats we can talk about, which I don't have set up on the stream. Again, I'm a terrible streamer, but we can talk about things that maybe surprise us about how many things were picked. Like, for example, Terrorblade, not surprising, but 100, is that right? 100% pick or ban every game. Is that the correct way I'm
No,
reading
he's
this?
78% contested. I think the 100 is a
Who is it?
metric that he is the most contested, and then everything else is relative to him or something. I actually
Shit.
don't know how this works when you have numericals instead of percentages. Like, I don't know how this works with, like, Broodmother's 99.1 and Terrorblade's 100. But as far as
Oh,
percentages go, super contested hero. He was really, really strong. Um, I'm honestly more interested in looking at like the macro stuff rather than individual heroes, like win rates for the sides, win rates for first pick and second pick,
mm,
um, across the board. Dyer had higher win rates, Shannon.
barely though.
Yes, but that is unusual, right? I actually
Yeah.
no. In the pro scene, it's not that unusual that Dyer has higher win rate, but it's very close. It's like 49 to 51. So I think that's pretty healthy. Out of a total of 291 games, looks pretty balanced. And the median duration of games being 39 minutes, I think is really good. I think that's a healthy game duration. I think it's good for a patch when it has potential to go really long, but also potential to be stompy. I think it's a good sign that you can strategize in different ways when you can win a game in 20 minutes or in 100,
Hmm.
and that the game allows for that to happen. So I'm really happy with that from this patch. And yeah, then about the hero specific stuff. Terrorblade, Invoker, Brood were the 3 big ones. Then a hero that really stood out. Obviously, we have AA as a support. Mirana was really popular, and TA, of course, Nyx. Somehow Medusa got a really high score here. I don't think that's because of Europe, though. I think that's because of every other region. Medusa was not as contested in Europe, um, but maybe it got banned a lot in the second and third phase instead of picked. I think that's what happened.
Yeah. And then heroes that were uncontested: Bane, Shadow Fiend, Dazzle, Bounty Hunter, Spirit Breaker, Silencer, and Ogre. Do any of those surprise you?
That's crazy. It's like 5 of my favorite 5s.
5 of your favorite five? Oh, position fives. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Bane, Dazzle, Spirit Breaker, Silencer, and Ogre. All of these heroes I've played 5. Bounty is the one that's a little bit most off, and
I,
Spirit Breaker.
I think
Did I
this is
even mention Bounty?
evidence
Like,
that Ice Frog hates your fucking guts, bro.
there's
Obviously.
actually. I've played a lot of these competitively as 5s. So, Bane, Dazzle, and Ogre, I think, are 3 of my most played competitive heroes.
Mm.
None of them got picked ever in the qualifiers. And then Silencer and Ogre, or Silencer and Spirit Breaker are like special mentions, and Bounty can be a 5. But, like, look at that pool, though. It's only Shadow Fiend that is technically truly a core in this pool, and everyone else is a support. So for the most part, you can play Silencer core, etc. But yeah, Shadow Fiend unpicked.
Yeah, that's
That's
the one that
kind of
surprised me the
crazy,
most. I mean, not that he's super
actually.
popular, but I figured that at least one
He
team or
usually
two
finds a
teams would
way.
play a game or two. Ogre,
Yeah.
just how does this hero falling off a cliff? It was like picked every game not too long ago, like a year ago, I want to say. It's literally every
He
single
just he
game.
doesn't really scale very well. I think what you want from your fives right now is you want lane securing, and then you want them to progress into the game, right? So a lot of the fives that we see uh, just either have really good team fight inherently in their spells, or they dominate the lane harder than Ogre and Bane, like something like Enchantress. Or when you can pull it off, you can get a 5 in lane that isn't necessarily a lane dominator, but then can act as initiation roll or a catch like Hoodwink or Clockwork, or
Hmm.
there's like different options. And Bane and Ogre, as examples, just don't really fit that bill. They don't scale, they don't clear creep waves, and there are other ways of winning lanes than picking these like bullies. So that really is part of the, like, if you look at these uncontested heroes as far as the supports go, kind of the shared trait is that they don't clear waves very well, right? Ogre, Bane, Silencer, Dazzle, Spirit Breaker. Dazzle is not a good wave clear. Yeah, he has poison touch, but you can't kill the wave. You need to hit it again, and you can't do
Yeah.
that without dying a lot of the time. So,
But like, how do you balance that?
and he
Because you
does.
can't give everybody wave clear, right? That's part of the
Right.
game. But it's so important. I feel like it's been so important for so long now. Maybe you
Yeah, I
offer
think,
something else that they do that's just way better than everybody else, but they still suck at wave clear. That's kind of
for
the
example,
idea,
I
right?
mean, that's Enchantress, right? Enchantress's wave clear is not good, but she's
True.
just exceptional at other things, like total lane dominator. She utilizes the jungle, and she scales because of impetus in a way that Ogre and Bane can't. So she can tank Roche. There's like all these secondary benefits that, yeah, these other heroes just don't have right now. So
All
I
I
hope
can
for
say is
hope for
I'm
some
excited.
buffs for some of these
Oh,
heroes,
I was gonna say I'm hoping for some nerfs because I'd be really happy
or
never to
nerfs for other
see.
heroes. Happy with nerf
Would
patches as
happy to
always.
not see Terrorblade ever again. He's literally every single game,
Yeah,
and
very popular right now.
very very popular indeed. Okay, so that was the TI quals. Very cool to watch and cast. Now we can talk a bit about the teams that actually have made it officially, which we kind of have to some degree, but now we can talk about all of them together and then give our predictions maybe. So
Yep.
obviously, the teams that were directly invited were EG, PSG LGD, Virtus Pro, Quincy Crew, IG, T1, Vici Gaming, Team Secret, Aster, Alliance, Beast Coast, and Thunder Predator. And then obviously now the qualified teams include Undying, SG, OG, Team Spirit, Fnatic, and Elephant. So I know we're months away. Would you like
Mm-hmm.
to make an early prediction? We're
Hmm.
also probably one decently sized patch between now and TI.
Right.
Probably closer to now.
Okay, let's try to split this into a couple of things. So let's predict OG's placement first. Top what?
Oh, okay.
I
OG.
I feel like it's cool to give them a special mention because they've won 2 TIs in a row. So what are they gonna do this time?
Okay.
Where do you put them in this
I
field?
will say 9 to 12.
9 to 12. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Maybe top 8.
all right. I'll give OG top 6. I
Okay.
think. Um, and I think if I had to pick a top 3 based on what we've seen just now, which I guess is our best guess, right? PSG LGD for sure. EG, I guess, will make top 3. And I feel like T1 will not do it at TI this year. I don't think so. They're really good though, but I feel like they're like top 6 probably in the TI setting, maybe
Mm-hmm.
even top 8. Maybe I'm just a hater. PSG, LGD, EG, and Vici Gaming?
All right. I'm going to
Probably.
change my
Yeah.
OG prediction to be 8th
Okay. 7th,
because
8th.
there are 3 South Americans. And maybe one of them will do well. I don't know. There's just not enough
Yeah.
info on that.
I'll
So
say in
top
no
8.
particular order, my top 3 for now is LGD, Vici, EG.
Okay. I'm just going to pick a winner. It's going to be Evil Geniuses.
Okay.
We've talked about this before. I know that I'm an NA bias here. I understand that. But they have been the most consistent team for the past 2 majors. Yes, they didn't win any
Yeah.
of them, but they got second twice. That's pretty fucking impressive.
Very true.
And in terms of just their lineup, I still think like from 1 to 5, they have the best roster in the world. So
I definitely
minimum they'll
think
be top 3, I think.
it's a strong case to make, right? That they have had the highest average placement all year, right? So that
Yeah.
in theory should give them the highest chance of placing high, which is the way you get to win is by placing high. Shocker. But at the same time, also a little bit concerning that largely what they lose on in these qualifiers is strategy, right? And when it comes, or not qualifiers, in these tournaments, in my opinion, I think in the finals, a lot of the times they get out strategized. That has been part of their problem historically. It's just not adapting well enough to other teams switching up the draft.
Mm.
And that is a requirement to win a best of 5 finals. You don't win a best of 5 finals without being able to dissect and understand what strategies are winning and why. So, like, their Achilles heel is the most important skill in the finals. So that's kind of an issue, right? I don't know if you agree with that. That's EG's biggest weakness.
I mean, I could see
Is
that, but I
strategy.
don't think it's not something that's uncorrectable, though, right? The fact that they've gone
No,
through it,
absolutely
it gives
not. It's
them a
just
lot more
they've had a
experience.
long time now, right? For years, EG has been a top 3 team, but where are the championships, right?
Mm.
Like, if that is the Achilles heel and the problem they run into, we need to see the fix so that we truly believe, right? And they were really close. One of the majors, they were 2-0, and then they lost 3-2. They kind of fell off a cliff after they lost the game, game 3. And I think they've done a better job since they got this new roster, I would say, at having more strategic diversity. But I still, you still just want to see the win before you really believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the last finals, they were not even close. Like LGD just trashed them. That was just a stomping of the finals. So,
So
and LGD brought a lot of new stuff to the table in that finals. By the way, they played some really cool stuff and just had the strategic edge. It felt like in every game.
I think that's
So
actually really fair. Having said that, I think my biggest wild card is the team that I think has the most to prove, probably because they failed so many times on LAN, and that's Virtus Pro. I think they're unbelievably good. So I think they'll have a
yeah,
really good showing, like top 4 potentially. I also think that Chinese teams are gonna destroy. I think this time around it'll be 2 of them in the top 4, and then
Mhm.
probably you can maybe do 3 in the top 6, depending on how the brackets show up, of course. And like EU, I'm looking at the EU teams now that I'm like reassessing this. OG looked better than Secret and Alliance actually. So I don't know how I'm feeling about my prediction of only top 8 now, because I'm not feeling it from Alliance or Secret. They have just not played well, but maybe like they're really good though. Obviously they qualified to TI, but lately they just haven't
Yeah.
been that good.
hmm
So those are almost like wild cards to
I
me.
find Secret and Alliance completely impossible to place in this bracket. I have
Yeah.
literally no idea. They're like the most uncertain ones of all, I think, for me. Like this could be another year where Secret just either get fourth at TI again or bomb out like one of the disaster years they've had like once or twice.
Mm.
Um or because it's in October, maybe they own because Secret notoriously just play better at every other time than August. um and Alliance, don't know. Like you said, they've looked really good online and in qualifiers, but in this LAN setting, they haven't really been they're at their best. So
It's
honestly,
true.
really hard to say.
Okay.
It's really
So
exciting. I actually think this field is going to be really, really cool to watch, and I
oh
think
yeah.
there will be. TI always has upsets, but I think this time there's the potential for many upsets actually with this team
Well, as the
lineup.
years go on, I think just everybody's more skilled. Like it's more of a
Right.
balance as opposed to years prior.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a bit of a a beat here, Cinderin. Switch things
Yes.
up and talk about workshop sets. Okay. So
Okay.
what I need you to do is turn on the stream so that you can see what I'm going to be
I see
showing
the
on the
stream.
screen.
I see it.
Are you sure
Slight
you
delay.
see me on the stream? Hi, Cinderin. Can you see me?
Hello. I
Okay,
can see you.
just making sure. So
3 second delay.
this is not fully up to date because this was for the Thursday episode, which is now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm very sorry. I'm not gonna lie, it was basically laziness. It would take me 20 extra minutes to put the names of the artists. I did not do that. I'm sorry. If you guys go to R all on or not R all R Dota 2, just sort by top posts of the past week, you will see a lot of the workshop stuff that I'm about to show. And again, it's not fully updated because there's been a few that have come out in the last few days, but How do you want to rate these? If they should get in and not get in? Like, what do you want to do?
I would rather rate them rate them 1 to 5, where 5 is amazing, and then obviously
Okay.
we want it to get in, right?
1 to 5. Can we just do 1 to 10? I just feel more comfortable with 1 to 10.
Okay,
Great. Thank you so much, Cinder. You're the best.
no problem.
All right. So the first few are going to be an image, and then the rest are going to be like these short GIFs. So this PA set, what are your thoughts? It's going to block us, by the way. It's fine.
It's
The
a really
PA
cool
Mar
set. It's a really cool set, but I'll give it a 1
Whoa.
because it doesn't. It's not an assassin outfit. It doesn't fit the character. These items, all the
This
pieces.
is going to be
Look,
good.
all the pieces are great, but it's just not PA. So I wouldn't rate it on a PA scale. If this was for Mars, I would give it a totally different score, for example, or for PL, right?
Oh man, I'm gonna have a lot of fun, man. We're gonna disagree on so many. I think this isn't my favorite by any means. I think it's really well made. Like you think it's really well made. I don't give a shit about if
It's
it fits the
great.
character or not. She could be
But it's
wearing a
not an
cowboy hat.
assassin. Okay, what lore are you from where an assassin has this? What assassin walks around with a huge shield and
Cinderin,
a phalanx helmet?
You realize she has a cowboy hat in the game already, right?
That's more fitting for an assassin. That's
Is
light
it?
armor. Why would you wear a
You're saying
phalanx
that
helmet
in
and a
the Roman
shield?
days, back in the day, with the phalanxes and all that shit, they didn't have assassins? Who knows? Maybe that's how they dressed up. We don't know. Anyway, I give this a 7. I think it's really good. As you give it a 1. All right, let's go to the next one. Or this will take forever. All right, we got the Rubik set. He's got a side horse coming out of his shoulder. Obviously, for me, this will be a 9.5 because of the horse.
I haven't seen this one yet. He's playing the drum. What the fuck is this?
It's so good. It's so
Dude,
good.
this reminds me of those parades going down the streets, just playing.
Yeah.
Oh, what are they called? What's those parades called?
Yeah. Oh, is that out of the
Oh,
staff? My apologies. I'm looking at it at a really small screen, so I won't be
dude,
able to see all the
is
details.
this a mouse? Wait, what is this?
No, it's
Dude, it's the Pringles man.
even better. Okay,
literally
I need to
Pringles
change
as
it to a
Rubik.
10 out of 10 if it's the if
It's
the
fucking Pringles.
All right, what's your assessment?
He has a mouse. Dude, this is so. Is this a reference to something?
Nutcracker, apparently.
Okay, I
I've
don't know
actually
what
seen
that is.
Nutcracker a bunch of times, and I didn't even get that
Okay,
reference.
so it is a reference because it's like whoever comes up with this is way too random. Okay, so since I don't know the reference, maybe I don't appreciate some of the fine stuff here. I'll give it a 7. I think.
A 7. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's unfortunate. All right. Sorry to the artist there. All right, we have a Meepo set that is a again, I'm looking at a very small screen. Is that a pirate? It's been a while since I've seen this. Okay. I mean, he's got an octopus, a squid on his back, and a chest.
I saw some comments saying that this would be amazing if the squid was the Earthbind, and I agree 100% with that. That would be really cool.
But they can't change that.
As the net.
So again, for people that don't know, when it comes to particles and changing abilities, Valve does not allow it, period, anymore. So it's not a thing. But yeah, that would be cool. I'll give this a 7. 7 for me. It's really well made, though.
I'll give it an 8. I really like this one. I think it's the best one so far for me.
Okay.
Overall, but the Rubik one is also really cool. I just can't really.
Just wait for this.
I don't know, man.
Ogre Magi Jakiro set. I'm sure that Cinderin is going to give this a 1. I'd be shocked if he doesn't give it a 1.
You give this a fucking 9 or something because you love shit like this.
I mean, at this point, just fuck the game. Who cares? It looks hilarious. It fits the character. They're both idiots dressing up as another hero. This one, I will say, and on a serious note, this is like probably past borderline. You're literally dressing up as another hero. Okay, I'm biased.
It's
because
fucking
I love crazy
funny,
shit.
but it's a 1.
This is a 1 for you. All right, I'm gonna give it a 6, just because, like, I want to give it a 10 because I love it, but I know that I'll be really annoyed in game probably. I mean, It doesn't really look like Jakiro though. Like, look at the backside. That's what you're going to be seeing most of the time when he's running around. Are you actually going to mistake that for
I get
Jakiro?
that. I get it, but okay, then it doesn't look like Jakiro, but why is Ogre a dragon? Like,
Well, he's not
so
he's
what?
dressed up as a dragon. It's a
Yeah, but
costume.
why? What?
Oh my god.
And his front is a penguin. Next.
So you're fine with the mount that they have for the Arcana. That fits the lore for you.
That's my least favorite Arcana in the whole game.
Okay, good to know. Okay, we're
By
done with
far.
the images. So on
Not
to
even
the.
close. Oh, that's a
All right.
one. Okay.
This is
Oh,
really good. Grimstroke
yeah.
Raven set. I think this is the same guy that made the Parrot Necro from a few
Yeah.
years ago.
This one's legit.
Oh, okay. What would you give it?
This is a 9.
I agree. I was going to say 9 as well. Very well made.
It's very, very good.
Doesn't break the lore, apparently. You're fine with him being a Raven all of a sudden?
Yeah, I think this is for me personally, at least, this fits better.
Okay,
Maybe
tell me why this is... Okay, I'm not saying this isn't well made. I gave it a fucking 9. He's a fucking bird. How does that not change the... Like, from your perspective, your rating system, that it breaks the lore, where in the lore does it say he's a raven?
he's not a bird. It's a mask.
Well, look at his feet. Is that a mask for his feet too?
No,
What do you mean no?
but he is not a bird. Okay.
You don't think he's a bird? I think he is literally a bird.
Okay. So
He
in the
has
lore,
wings.
I don't fucking remember this. Yeah, I know, but I don't know. Maybe this is too far out.
He's a bird. This is not an opinion. So now let's say he's a bird, which he is. Do you change your rating? Because you're going to be a big hypocrite if you stick with 9 now.
Well, he isn't a bird. Look at his arms.
Oh my god.
He has his no.
Yeah,
but,
because
like,
you can't
seriously.
change. Yeah, okay. He has arms of a human. That's the lore breaking part of this, actually, if you want to think of it that way. Because he is a fucking bird with human arms.
I would say he's a human with claws, and everything else actually.
He's a human with a crow's head, wings, and fucking talons. But he just has human arms.
Okay, do you not agree that his head is a mask? Do you actually think that is a bird head?
What makes you think it's a mask, though? Why?
That it looks like a mask.
No, it's his face.
That's why I think it's a mask, is because it looks
so
like a
when you're
mask.
making a set, okay, like think of it this way. For actual sets, like when you create them, you can't actually change the face. You put stuff on top of them. So theoretically, every set is a mask, okay? So obviously I know that. This is intended to be a bird, okay?
It's intended to represent a bird. It's
and he
a
has
bird
wings.
mask.
So why...
The wings are non-functional. His arms are moving. His wings are not. They're literally static.
All right, what about his feet then? So you think his feet are a costume? They're leggings that you put on. That's what you're saying.
No, that is the one that's weird.
God, I hate you. You make no sense. Okay. So are you changing your rating?
So what I don't know is apparently in Japanese lore there's some sort of crow-related stuff, but I don't know enough about it. You know what? I'm really consistent. This is a 9. It's cool. Next.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Next, we have an Ursa circus theme set. He's got the mechanical claws there. He has the barrel with a bunch of shit on it, like the saw. Bullseye bracer type material there. Oh, that looked like a... Oh, there's 2 styles to it. That actually just changed. Yeah. Okay. So there's 2 styles to it. Very cool.
I think objectively this is really well made, but I don't personally like the style. So I'm going to give it a 7 because of how good it is, but it's not my thing.
All right, I'm going to give it an 8. I think it's very good. Congratulations to the artist. Very good indeed. Next, Alchemist. What is this? What is this theme? Is this like a space theme? Is this a Bioshock?
Buzz Lightyear? Buzz Lightyear.
It kind of does look like Buzz Lightyear, doesn't it? So it's called the Space Frog Hunter. So it is space related. I'm not a huge fan personally. I'm going to give this a 4.5, below average.
Yeah, it might look really good in game, but when it's blown up like this, I think it clearly loses out in detail to all the other sets we've seen, right? Like this is more basic in each
Okay.
individual element. Um, but maybe in game it comes out really well because of that, because the pieces are like bigger and less detailed. A lot of the time the details can kind of get lost.
I just don't like
Um,
the theme. I don't
yeah,
know.
same.
I'm
It's
into
a
the
3 for
crazy
me.
ass shit, but I just personally never been into this like retro space theme. I don't know. Maybe
It's a
it's just
3
me.
for me.
A 3. Okay. We have the
Yeah.
Puff Daddy Witch Doctor. This one doesn't revolve around, but you can see the Death Ward there, and yeah, this one. I mean, it's pretty
This
cool.
is really
I'm
fucking good.
okay. You're gonna give it a higher rating than me. I will give it a 7.5. Quite good.
This is a 9.
Okay.
It's very, very, very good, I
All right.
think.
Yeah. All
I
right.
really
There's
like
a
the Death
9.
Ward. I think it's very cool.
See, the Death
The way
Ward's
that
actually the one that I don't like that much because I'm comparing to other sets that are in the game, and the Frog one is just superior in every way. So, um, yeah, that's just me. Next, Underlord with a bunch of armor. I'm gonna give this. Oh, go ahead. You go first this time.
I feel like it
Black
covers him up too
armor.
much.
It's just pure black.
Yeah.
It's almost like it
I
wasn't
don't know.
colored in.
I like the pieces. There's just not enough going on, right? Like there needs to be a little more
Not
play with the
enough
color.
going on for you. Wow. Look at
Yeah,
this.
well, I mean, you could take any hero and just cover them up entirely in armor, and then it's like, it's
Yeah.
clearly still Underlord, and I like. See, this is what's weird about this. I actually think these pieces are very well made, and they look cool on the hero, but they're not highlighted. I don't think they're going to come out very good in game.
Mm.
There needs to be like more that ties the stuff together with like more like green or some sort of details
Yeah, and the thing that I've noticed
on the
because we
back
wanted a lot
piece
of like black
and the
is my
tail
favorite
piece.
color to try to get into Dota, but in retrospect, when you go in game, it's actually doesn't look as good. Like this is probably shinier than it would look in game, but
I'll give it
well,
a 5 because I think the individual pieces are nice, but it's just missing on
okay.
flavor, I
I'm
guess.
gonna give it a 2. Not a fan.
What? Okay, so
Oh,
let's just say, what if, um, just from the perspective of how the items are, like, how to say, just the design. How good do you think the design is? And then
I'm
you
not a
can color
fan.
them
I
now,
I
and you can
think
put stuff on. You just don't like the look in general.
I think the helm you can barely see it because he
Yeah.
flips it so fast, but the helm looks kind of cool, I guess. But I just think it's boring. I don't know. There's
Okay,
nothing special about it to me.
fair enough.
All right, we have the
Next.
Sven. This is I don't know the background
Oh, this one's
behind this,
cool.
but it might be anime related. So Sven sets. Oh, I should have mentioned this before, but the reason that a lot of these sets look a lot crazier, Cinderin, well,
Hmm.
it's two things. Number one, obviously, as time goes on, things will get crazier. We talked about this. It's just that's just how it is. And number two, they up the budget on a lot, if not most heroes in the game. So
Yeah, you can
you
use
can put
more
a lot
triangles.
more detail now. So
Yeah,
this fence set, I think this is really cool. I'm gonna give it an 8. I
same. I
love the
was
helm a
gonna say it's an
lot.
8 for me.
The helm is the best part for me. The swords, whatever.
I like the
Um,
hair.
yeah, the helmet, that's part of the hair. Yes.
Right. Okay.
Looks very
Yeah,
good. Okay.
it's an 8.
Next is
It's a reference to Berserk. I just
Chaos
saw it in
Knight.
chat. I remembered. I read about it before.
Okay.
Oh yeah, this one's cool.
All right. Chaos Knight. I'm just going to
9.5.
say 9.5 for you. I'm going to say 10. This is God tier. This is fucking incredible. Um, does it bother you that this doesn't really look that much like CK, like in game?
I think. See, that's the thing though. I think it will in the. First of all, I don't think you will ever mistake this for any other hero in Dota, right? That's the first thing. But secondly, I think it really fits his character, and I think when you have a top-down view on this, there's no doubt in your mind that this is Chaos Knight at all. Um,
Okay. Well,
yeah,
we
I
don't
think
have
this
the
is
top-down view, so we can't know.
I
But
think it's super cool.
this set is
This set
mega
is
legit.
awesome. I
Yeah.
think this will become an ultra rare. Actually, I'm pretty confident
Yep.
that it will make it into the
Wouldn't be
ultra rare.
surprised. All the good ones are never achievable from
Yeah.
plebs like me. All right, next is a Morphling set that got a lot of attention because they just covered up all the non-polygons that Valve has put in for regular Morphling. It's like a shell, right? Which we've had some. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
shark shell kind of theme. Which we've had the coral theme before, but it wasn't as covered up. This one like literally just covers most of the face.
Like it's a hard challenge to give yourself to make a cosmetic for Morph. Like I can see the appeal because he has so few that you have a high chance of getting in if you make something good. But at
Yeah.
the same time, it's also hard to make something good for Morph. I don't know.
Rate it.
It's a 5, I guess.
All right, so I'm
It's
going to give
kind of average
this
for me.
a 6.5, but I will say it's not even remotely close. This is the best Morphling set there's ever been.
That's true.
This is the best Morphling
That
set
is true.
for sure. And it was very
Makes
commendable
sense
that
with
they
the
even
budget.
tried. Yeah. Dear God, remodel that hero. I don't understand. Next. Lumber Axe. My God. This, as you might imagine, Cinderin, is a 10 out of 10 for me as well. This looks like something from League of Legends, but it's so fucking good. It actually makes sense for the hero as well. He has a chainsaw. He has logs on his back. He's carrying an axe still. He has a white trash hat on as well, which is makes it even more perfect. Your thoughts? Is this a 1 for you?
Let me just think for a little bit. This set is really fucking weird. Like, the thing that's cool about it is that it's contextually, it really fits with itself, right?
Yeah.
But I don't like Axe having a chainsaw, first
What
of
the?
all.
Who gives
Even
a
though he doesn't use it.
Why? Why not? That's how badass he is. He has a chainsaw, chooses not to use it because his name is Axe, and that's all he actually knows.
He has Luigi's cap, which is like the only green part of the set except some leaves on the back on the logs. It has like, this is kind of like when you take all the good immortals on Lion and mix them, then you have like 6 different colors and nothing like is in unison. But dude, I don't know. It
Give it a
It's
rating.
weird because I think a lot of the reason this is hard for me to rate is that I think a lot of the individual pieces are really good. I just don't know if it fits together or fits Axe for me. Is it actually a 10 for you, or are you saying it as a meme? Do you think
I'm
this is a
not
really
saying
cool
that.
set?
I actually think this is a 10.
You think it's a 10?
This is so fucking good. I think like the quality is not as good as CK, but
Can
the
I
theme
abstain?
for me is so much. It's like the best. You can't abstain. No, you need to give it a rating for God's sake. If you're gonna cop out, just say 5.
Yeah, it's a 5.
Okay. Disappointing. All right. Next, we have the first Dawnbreaker set ever made. I'll let you go first since you're a big Dawnbreaker player.
I think thematically it really fits, including the weapon. I think it kind of fits her style. Maybe a little bit too much going on with the hair, and I don't know if I like the eye patch so much, but really like the leg armor and the cloak and the weapon. So I like the majority of this and think it's really good, so I'll give it an 8.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 2.
Holy shit.
I actually don't. It is the first
Dude, we
set.
have so different opinions in cosmetics. It's so funny.
I was thinking about like what could you even make for Dawnbreaker? Like it actually seems like a pretty difficult hero to make a set for.
Mhm.
But I would literally rather use the base model than this.
I
So
think this would look good in game, top down as well. I think it's gonna
after
look
hearing
nice.
myself, I'm gonna give it a 1 because I literally would rather have the base model than this.
Harsh.
Not a fan. Sorry. Okay, next we have a faceless void hive mind. Doesn't look like he's gonna
Ooh.
spin anytime soon, so it's just a front view.
There's a brain in his weapon.
Oh yeah, he sure does. That's pretty sick.
This one's cool. I really like this.
Okay.
Um,
It kind of looks
is that
like
wait?
Abaddon without a mouth.
Have they replaced literally every part of the model? This is not like is there anything in this that's base void? Because
There's
even his hands
always.
look darker.
It's just under. Oh, you're saying they covered it up. Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely
Like, isn't
darker.
literally every part of original Void covered here?
Yeah, it actually does look like it. Yeah,
I don't think there's any original Void, but I really like this color scheme for the hero.
yeah.
Um,
You don't think it's
this
too
is
much like
cool.
Abaddon? What if Abaddon got? What if they came out with a persona of Abaddon where he doesn't have a mount anymore? This is what he would look like, legitimately,
You think
without the
so?
brain. Yeah, you don't think so? Same,
Mm,
same color scheme,
don't know.
same overall.
I don't
All
know.
right, whatever.
I like this. I don't think it would look like Abaddon because Abaddon would be more like a Death Knight, right? And this looks more like an alien with like the thing in the middle. His chest is like vines, and his shoulders are like these like
It's like
spines
tentacles.
or tentacles, whatever you want to call them. Um,
It's like Cthulhu because I think
yeah,
there's
I
been
think
some
it really fits.
Cthulhu themes for
It
him.
is like an alien thought. The I think one of the problems here potentially is that color scheme wise, what Valve is going for is that in these types of heroes in Dota are purple, right? Like Void, Bane. Who else is there in this category? Is Arc Warden also have a little bit of that color scheme?
Hmm.
So I don't know if Valve care about that because it was something interesting I saw in one of Slax's lore videos that the color purple really represents something in the universe in Dota. They've used it very deliberately with what is purple. But just from the set itself and for the hero, I think this is cool. I'll give it a 9. I really like this.
All right, I will give it
Spectre and
a.
Enigma says chat. That is true.
I will
Spectre
say
and
it's
Enigma. Dogs here.
7.5. I think the weapon
It's
is a
very cool.
10. The weapon's god tier.
Yeah, it's very, very cool.
I'll say 7.5 overall.
Okay.
Pretty good.
So we kind of agree on this. There's been a couple that we both thought were very good. And then we just have some totally polarizing ones, as usual.
We have two
You like the
more.
shit that doesn't make sense, and I don't. So,
We have two more. One of them is called the Beaver. Cinderin, you ready for this?
yes.
This is Weaver in a
Oh,
bee costume. It's actually a literal bee now. So it is a bug, right? From one bug to another. This is, I think, really well made.
yeah. This is good.
It feels like they've made it very seamlessly. Like it feels like it fits him, even though it's a completely different color scheme.
Right. So, do you know what I mean when I say something like do you understand why I like this more than the axe? Like, does that make
Well,
sense to
the
you?
axe one is very cartoony, so yeah, I can understand why somebody wouldn't like it.
Because like to me this just it fits way better with the way the hero sounds, the way it works, what spells it has,
Mm,
everything. The eyes are fucking cool. I really like that. It's hexagons, right? Yeah, it is. This should be like a bee, like a honeycomb.
yeah.
And insect eyes in general, I think, are made up of hexagons, right? I think so. Um, maybe the original Weaver even has hexagon eyes. You just don't see them as much as you do on this with the color scheme. Yeah, I love this one. It's a 9 for me.
All
Really
right,
cool.
9.5 for me. Very, very good set. And then the final one, Cinderin, is for one of your favorite heroes,
Oh boy, did they
Clockwork.
do it justice?
The Clockwork Raptor set.
Oh,
And it comes with cogs as well. I'll let you rate this one first since this is your favorite hero, I think, or one of them.
all right. How about this? Guess first, just on a hunch. Do I like or dislike this?
Well, you smiled already, so I know you like it.
That could also mean that I think it's stupid.
No, because you'd be angry if one of your favorite heroes had a set that you just hated. So you do like it.
I feel personally offended that one of my favorite heroes. No, this is cool, and I think again part of the reason I think this fits a lot more with like the just if you think about how Clockwork is and the fact that it's mechanical. I think a lot of the times when you make mechanically themed sets, you can get away with a lot more because
Hmm.
it's not the character itself; it's the armor it's wearing, and you can just it's a robot and it can have I don't know, you could think of tons of different outfits for Clockwork. Do you know what I'm getting at here? Like he could look very different as long as he's still robotic and metallic and he has his key elements like the rocket on the shoulder and the hammer or the
He has a
wrench,
big
whatever
ass
it is.
wrench there. Yeah.
So I think this is a really cool take on the hero. I like the subtle fire, or it is fire, right? Like fire or light that's coming out of his back when it turns, or that yeah, it's just like the fuel elements.
Hmm.
This is cool. It's a 9. The cogs are also lit. Actually, it's 9.5. The cogs are fucking cool.
I'm gonna give it a 10.
9.5.
I gotta give it a 10. It's hilarious. It's really good.
It's very good.
Uh, Actually, maybe I should lower Axe's score because this is definitely better than Axe for me. We'll bring Axe down
Oh, yeah.
to a 9. But
What did I give Chaos Knight? Did I give him 9.5?
yes, I think so.
Then CK is a 10, and this is 9.5.
CK is a 10. Okay. I like this one more than CK, I think. Or maybe they're the same. But yeah, those are a lot of the sets.
It's always funny when I talk about cosmetics, Shannon, because I have a glance at chat, and I'm sure the comments on this are going to be hilarious too. But like, you and I have really strong disagreements, but I feel like there's a few people that I'm reaching with my logic, and there's always a lot of people that are like, "Sin, you're a fucking idiot."
Well,
Make any
that's
sense
what
how you
happens with
think.
personal taste, you know.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, of course, it's just usually with other stuff, I'm a very logical person, okay? But I feel like with some of these things, it's just hard um, to place them, and my taste, I guess, is just
I
very,
mean, we
very
used to do
different.
a workshop weekly video every week, obviously, because the name was weekly, where I'd go over every single set, and the biggest thing I would talk about is how I wish things were crazier. And I'm
Right.
telling you,
You got there.
people hated the fact that I wanted things crazier. And now this could be in the game. Okay? This could be in the game. This is still crazy. I don't care what anybody says. This is a crazy fucking set. Extremely well made, all of these. And I couldn't be happier. But yeah, with that, let's do our
Shannon, I
last
actually
top.
think, you know what?
Okay.
Quickly, I think I have a good way of explaining now what I meant with the Grimstroke. Okay, are you ready?
Okay.
So he's obviously cursed, right? Like he sacrificed like everything, including his wife, just in the pursuit of power. And in that, he's even given up part of his bodily like form. He's turned into some sort of like dark crow shape with his legs and everything, but he's still human. He's not a bird, but he's a human with bird features now. So he's still the same character, but cursed, right? It's kind of like how a centaur has two halves,
Okay.
and the sentient part is the human one, right? It's half horse, half human, right?
Okay.
So I would say that a centaur is a human with a horse body, not a horse with a human torso. Know what I mean?
Okay.
That's how I think about the Grimstroke. He is human, but
Okay. And
has
let me throw
bird
you
features.
a
You can
counter
show it again.
argument here. You're still watching the stream, right?
I'm looking.
So
Yeah.
the lore behind this set is that Axe got laid off with his usual job, which was killing people, and he got a job as a lumberjack. Okay, that's his fucking lore, and it fits perfectly.
He got laid off as a murderer to become a lumberjack. That's way too
It's
fucking funny,
Dexter.
sir. You're
It's
fired. Go cut
literally,
some.
it's literally the story of Dexter in Dota. Okay, it's perfect. It's just a mass murderer becomes a lumberjack. My goodness, it couldn't be any better than that. That was a spoiler. Sorry. If you haven't seen Dexter after a decade, then shame on you. Okay, so with that, Cinder, let's just talk about our last topic, and then we'll call bid everybody adieu. Very important that we mention that Jeff Bezos is retiring as the CEO of Amazon at the age of 57. He is worth $262 billion.
Australian
I
dollars.
believe that makes him the richest person.
197 US.
Oh, that's Australian or something, right?
He's 200. Let's just say 200 US
All right,
dollars to make it 200 billion.
$200 billion. I don't know what the richest person of all time is, but that probably is it, I would imagine. I don't know. What would you do with of course, a lot of his money, obviously he was mega rich before, but the pandemic made him skyrocket even further, which kind of sucks because, Amazon workers are getting fucked basically, while he's making a shit ton of money, but that's a whole nother story entirely. What would you do with $200 billion?
I would pay my employees more.
But you wouldn't own a company. I just gave you $200 billion.
Oh, I just get 200 billion right now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting question. I would definitely invest a lot of it into trying to prolong or extend the longevity of Earth, probably. So a lot of it into like green initiatives, green energy. I think I
Oh,
would
wow, very
build
commendable.
a lot of green energy. I think.
Hmm.
I feel like when this is a thing about having this much money, right? Like when you have that much money, you kind of have the power to make amazing change that most people in their lifetime, no matter how hard they try, will never be able to, no matter how driven they are. So if you suddenly have this money, you can do stuff that genuinely just changes the outcome, like the future of the entire world. That's how much money this is. So
Yeah.
I think that that would be a lot of it. I think would be like green energy and making the world less polluted, and then helping with world hunger, helping with um, probably space initiatives for the future of humankind as well. I think that's where most of it would go.
That's what he's doing to some degree.
And then I would hire a personal chef.
That's it. Just the personal. Okay. You don't want an island. You're not into that
What
kind
would
of
I use
thing.
an island for? Actually, I would host TI.
Okay. That's
Yes.
very commendable. Thank you. All right.
It's
So
about the same amount of money that Valve make every battle pass, right? 200 billion.
yeah,
So
just about
I could
that. Yeah.
host a TI. Yeah.
For 200 billion, I would give $10,000 to Valve for the IP of Artifact, and then I would use maybe 20 million of it to develop it further with another company that would actually want to give a fuck about it. Then I would buy the Phoenix Suns for probably $1.5 billion and never work again. I'd be very happy. Probably still play Dota and hate myself,
What would
but
you do with the rest then? You have another 200 left.
I would probably get a house that is the size of an island and fill it with cats only. It would just be an island run by cats, but they can go in and out of the house freely, but they're not in danger. I would make sure all the species that would, be a potential threat to them, we would just exterminate them immediately.
Okay.
Okay.
That was another 5 million. You now have 200 billion left. What are you going to do with
I'm
that?
gonna do that slowly on every island across the world, and we're just
Okay, so
gonna
my plan is to
create a
save
new
humankind, and your plan is to
subspecies.
eradicate it
No,
with
I think
cats.
you want to save mankind, where I want to I was gonna say eradicate humankind. I want to
Good.
replace them eventually, slowly, with cats, because I think cats would take better care of what we have than humans. You know?
Do you actually think so? Do you think if the planet was crowded with cats, like literally everywhere,
Yeah.
that they would take good care of the planet?
All right. If you actually want my real answer, yeah, I think you could pick
Okay.
literally any animal, and it would do a better job than humans. That is actually what I think.
If there was, okay, there's no way that's true. Like you take the most destructive animal and you place it everywhere on Earth.
Yeah. You put a bunch of fucking hippos, which are the most dangerous animal in the
6
world,
billion of them.
and they kill each other for the most part. And then they, eventually once they get tired of that because they're fat and disgusting, just like humans to some degree, they get tired and they just chill the rest of the time. And then everything's back to normal like it was before humans existed millions of years ago. Or if you're that person 1,000 something years ago, 2,000, 200 years ago.
Okay.
Okay. Great
Well,
talk. You
I
can come
like
to my
that.
TED Talk
I like
anytime.
that with I like that with our like conflicting view on some cosmetics. At least we have a very similar view on how to save the world. So that's always heartwarming. That yeah, that's good.
Good. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this TED Talk where we tell you how to live your
Yes.
lives. Love each other. Love your cats and dogs and any animal that isn't a human. Anywho, uh, until Thursday, since this is going to be a short week, I guess, Suns fan
Yep.
Synderen signing out. Goodbye. Oh,
Bye.
vote for the
Subscribe.
sets that we went over in the workshop. Just go to the workshop and find whatever sets you like. Vote for them. Thank you. We say things that don't mean anything, but thanks for listening. Yeah.